we have presented certain properties of the nucleon forces that are observed in the experiment. However, the theory used was essentially to correlate the experimental observations and not to explain their basic origin. There is a theory that is successful in explaining how certain properties of nucleon forces arise from more fundamental attributes of nature and is known as meson theory, which originated with the work of Yukawa in the year 1935. Yukawa proposed that a nucleon frequently emits a particle with an appreciable rest mass called pi meson or pion. This particle hovers near the nucleon in the so-called pi meson field for a very short time and then is absorbed by the nucleon. Such a pion is called a virtual particle because it has a very short existence limited by its violation of mass energy conservation. If two nucleons are close enough for their meson fields to overlap, it is possible for a pi meson to leave one field and join the other without permanently changing the total energy of the system of two nucleons. In the interaction, the momentum carried by the pi meson is transferred from one field to the other and therefore from one nucleon to the other. But if momentum is transferred, the effect is the same as if a force is acting between the nucleons. According to Yukawa, the exchange of a virtual pion between two nucleons leads to the nucleon force acting between them. Quantum electrodynamics shows that the long range of the Coulomb force is a consequence of the zero rest mass that photons have. Yukawa adapted the theory to the case of two nucleons interacting with a short-range nucleon force by assuming that the particle exchanged has a non-zero rest mass. When he made this proposal, pions was not detected, but Yukawa was able to estimate the rest mass that agree with the observed range by performing calculations. At the time of Yukawa's proposal, there were no known particles of rest mass between the electron rest mass 0.5 MeV by c square and the proton rest mass 938 MeV by c square. The pi plus mesons have a positive charge equal to plus E, where E is the charge of the electron, and the pi minus meson which have a negative charge minus E. They were first detected by Powell and collaborators in 1947 and found as a component of the cosmic ray radiation which is constantly bombarding the Earth. Shortly after, the charged pi mesons were produced artificially at a large cyclotron in collisions between nucleons of very high energy and nucleons in a target. Cosmic radiation mesons are also initially produced in high energy collisions. Measurements show that the pi plus and pi minus mesons have the same rest mass, that is m pi plus equals m pi minus equals 140 MeV by c square. This is certainly close to Yukawa's prediction m pi nearly equal to 100 MeV by c square. neutral pi0 mesons were first observed by Moyer and co-workers in 1950 as a product of high-energy collisions. Their rest mass is found to be m pi naught equals 135 MeV by c square. The free pi mesons which are observed in these experiments are liberated from the pi meson fields surrounding the colliding nucleons by the energy made available in the collision. They are the same particles as the mesons discussed in the meson theory of nucleon forces. The only difference is that Yukawa's mesons are bound before the nucleons interact by requirements of energy conservation. That is, the free pions are not virtual particles. As is true of the virtual pions that produce the strong force between two nucleons, the interaction of the free pions with the nucleons is strong. This was indicated in various ways in the early experiments with cosmic ray and cyclotron pions, which showed that the cross-section for interaction of a short de Broglie wavelength pion with a nucleus is close to its maximum possible value projected geometrical cross-sectional area pi multiplied by r prime square, where r prime is the nuclear radius. The interaction is also particularly violent when a pion enters a nucleus. Most of its rest mass energy goes into splitting the nucleus into fragments which fly apart energetically. The detection of free pions provided a striking verification of the validity of meson theory. Experimental evidence for the exchange of pions between two interacting nucleons is found in neutron-proton scattering. As we discussed in a preceding section, the approximate symmetry about 90 degrees of the scattering experimental cross-section implies that in about half the scatterings, the surrounding neutron changes into a proton and the proton changes into a neutron when the nucleons interact. One way this can happen is indicated by the set of reactions n to p plus pi minus. Then pi minus plus p decays to n. That is, the neutron emits a negatively charged pi meson into its field, becoming a proton. Then the pi minus meson joins the field of the proton and it is absorbed by the proton, which becomes a neutron. The scattering process can also happen through the sets of reactions p to n plus pi plus. Then pi plus plus n gives p. That is, proton emits a pi plus, becoming neutron, and is absorbed by the neutron to convert into proton. The reaction also happens through the exchange of pi0 mesons as shown here. That is, n to n plus pi naught, then pi naught plus p to p, and p to p plus pi naught, then pi naught plus n to n. The neutral pi naught meson transfers momentum but no charge between the interacting nucleons. This interpretation implies that an isolated proton should be surrounded by a meson field which will sometimes contain a pi naught meson and sometimes contain a pi plus meson. The reaction that takes place when the meson is emitted by the nucleon are p2 p plus pi naught or p2 n plus pi plus. Of course, the nucleon must absorb the meson it has emitted within a very short time, but it can emit another one. The meson field surrounding an isolated neutron should sometimes contain a pi naught meson and sometimes contain a pi minus meson, which are emitted through the reaction n2 n plus pi naught or n2 p plus pi minus. But the proton field cannot contain a pi minus meson and the neutron field cannot contain a pi plus meson. Very direct experimental verification of these predictions is provided by electron scattering experiments of the charge distribution of the proton and of the neutron. Figure shows the radial dependence of the charge densities of the two species of nucleons. The charge density of the proton is everywhere positive and extends out to a distance r about 2 Fermi. At a larger distance r, within this limit, in the field, the charge is carried by a pi plus meson. The neutron charge density is not everywhere 0. At smaller r, it is positive, and at larger r, it is negative. The volume integral of the charge density is 0 since the neutron is neutral and so has no net charge. Figure shows the radial dependence of the charge density of proton and of the neutron. For a neutron, there are two spherical shells, an outer negative charge and an inner positive charge. Now, let us see the physics behind decay of nucleons. The proton is stable because it is the lightest particle with non-zero baryon number, and baryon number is conserved in all known interactions. A neutron is not made of a proton, electron and an antineutrino. If it is made of proton, electron and neutrino, it could be as stable as atom of hydrogen. These particles are only its decay products. A neutron is made of 3 quarks, 1 up quark and 2 down quarks, and many intermediate particles called gluons, which carry the interaction between the quarks. In other words, when a neutron is hidden in an atomic nucleus, it is extremely stable and it does not decay. Of course, there are some radioactive elements which are not stable and their neutrons decay into protons. But let us not discuss it now, as the story is different. On the other hand, if you have a free neutron taken away from a nucleus, it does decay. And why is it so? When a neutron is buried into a nucleus, it feels mostly the strong interaction. The quarks are tightly held strongly to each other, and it is not allowed for them to change into UUD, the proton and electron and antineutrino. For the neutron decay, the weak interaction is responsible. If a neutron is freed from a nucleus, the weak interaction of quarks will play the major role, and since the proton is lighter than a neutron, it is allowed for the neutron to go into this lighter stage by radiating out an electron and antineutrino. The decay of free neutron is energy feasible because the mass of a neutron is greater than sum of masses of the proton, electron and neutrino. But when a neutron is paired with a proton, its decay is not energy feasible, and thus such neutrons within nuclei are stable. The magnetic moment of a neutron measured in nuclear magneton units is minus 1.9130. The magnetic moment of a proton is 2.79285. The ratio of these two magnetic moments is minus 0.685, very close to minus 2 by 3. There is only 2.7% difference. This suggests that the ratio of the intrinsic magnetic moments of the neutron and proton might be precisely equal to minus 2 by 3. For a neutron, there are two spherical shells, an outer negative charge and an inner positive charge. Meson theory also provides an explanation of how the neutron can have an intrinsic magnetic dipole moment, even though its net charge is 0. It sometimes becomes a proton plus a pi minus. The proton has an intrinsic magnetic dipole moment, and the pi minus meson can produce a current which makes an additional contribution to the magnetic dipole moment. At values of r approaching 2 Fermi, the nucleon charge densities are proportional to some measure of the intensity of their meson fields. Both are decreasing fairly gradually as r increases. The nucleon force which acts between two nucleons when their meson fields overlap also decreases fairly gradually as their separation increases. Thus, the onset of the attractive part of the nucleon potential describing the nucleon force acting when the two nucleons are beginning to get close enough to interact, it is fairly gradual. It is not abrupt as in the simplified nucleon potential as shown earlier, or as rectangular function or square well potential. In fact, for large values of the separation distance r, the nucleon potential should follow the Yukawa potential. Vr equals minus g square multiplied by e to the power minus r by r prime the whole divided by r, where r prime equals h cross divided by m pi into c is nearly equal to 1.5 Fermi. The constant g square determines the strength of the Yukawa potential just as the constant E square, that is, the square of the electron charge determines the strength of the Coulomb potential. Note that the dimensionless quantity g square by h cross c has the value 15, whereas the dimensionless quantity E square by 4 pi epsilon 0 h cross c, that is, fine structure constant, has a value equals 1 by 137. This is an indication of the strength of the nucleon force. Figure plots the Yukawa potential. Note that Vr is proportional to e to the power minus r by r dash whole divided by r decreases in magnitude with increasing r fairly gradually, but the decrease is very much more rapid than that of the long-range Coulombian potential VR, which is proportional to 1 by R. At values of R small compared to 2f, the nucleon potential deviates markedly from the Yukawa potential. In fact, we know it becomes repulsive at nearly 0.5 Fermi. The repulsive core of the potential may arise from the exchange of mesons whose restive masses are considerably larger than that of the pi meson. Single free pions can be created in high energy collisions between nucleons. Example, P plus P decays to pi plus D, or destroyed in collision between pions and nucleons. For example, pi plus D to P plus P. From this, we can immediately conclude that pions cannot be fermions. The reason is that the number of fermions in an isolated system always remains constant, in the sense that if a fermion is produced or destroyed, it always happens in conjunction with the production or destruction of an anti-fermion. Examples are electron pair production or annihilation. Pions are bosons just as photons that can be emitted or absorbed singly. As bosons, pions must have integral spin, that is S equal 0 or 1 or 2, etc. Measurements show that for all these cases, pi minus, pi 0 and pi plus, the pion spin is 0. The value of the pi plus spin influences the cross-section for the forward reaction because the reaction rate is proportional to the density of states that can be populated, and this is proportional to the spin degeneracy factor 2s plus 1. The cross-section ratio showed that S is equal to 0. A very interesting property of pions is that pions have odd intrinsic parity. The initial evidence came from the reaction pi minus plus D decays to N plus N. The negatively charged pion is captured by the deuteron after dropping through a sequence of atomic electron-like states to the L is equal to 0 state, where its wave function has a large overlap with the deuteron. Thus, the total angular momentum on the left of above equation is that of the spin 1 ground state of the deuteron. So, angular momentum conservation allows the two neutrons to be emitted either with total orbital angular momentum L equal to 0 or L equal to 2 and parallel spins, or with L is equal to 1 and anti-parallel spins. The first two possibilities are ruled out because they would result in a symmetric total eigenfunction for the system of two fermions. Therefore, neutrons are emitted in a state in which the total orbital angular momentum is L equals 1. The parity of such a state is odd, according to the usual rule that parity is governed by -1 to the power L. Therefore, since parity is conserved by the nuclear or nucleon interaction, the parity of the system pi minus plus D must be odd. Since it has even orbital angular momentum, the parity of the ground state of the deuteron is even, and the -1 to the power L rule also says that parity associated with L equal to 0 motion of the captured pi minus is even. Thus, the pi minus meson must have an intrinsic parity which is odd. The same rule is true for the other pions also, as the number of nucleons present is unchanged in the reaction. The intrinsic parity of the nucleon is undetermined. The number of nucleons is unchanged because single fermions cannot be created or destroyed, and this also makes it impossible to determine the nucleon parity. By convention, the nucleon intrinsic parity is taken as positive. The triplet of pions have similar masses, identical quantum numbers, and participates equally in the nucleon interaction. It is therefore natural to say that the pion is an isospin T equal to 1 particle that has a Tz equals -1 manifestation called pi minus. A Tz equal to 0 manifestation, the pi 0, and Tz equal to +1 manifestation, the pi plus. In doing so, we are generalizing the relation between Tz and electric charge. The form that we originally used for nucleon is Tz equals Z minus n by 2 is equivalent to the relation Q equals Tz plus half for nucleons, where Q is the charge in units of the magnitude of the electronic charge. For example, Q equal to 0 for Tz equals -half neutron, and Q equal to 1 for Tz equals +half proton. For pions, the relation is different, since Q is equal to Tz for pions. However, we may incorporate both of these relations into one form by writing Q equals Tz plus B by 2 for nucleons and pions, where B is called baryon number, has the value equal to 1 for the nucleon and 0 for pion. A baryon is a fermion that participates in strong interaction. The quantity B introduced here to generalize the relation between charge and isospin is quite important because it is a conserved quantity. For instance, the proton P and the proton P bar pair production reaction, P plus P decays to P plus P plus P plus P bar, is a very good example of the baryon number conservation law, sigma B equal to constant, where the baryon number B has a value +1 for the nucleon, -1 for an antinucleon. We already know that the total number of fermions in an isolated system will remain constant. But the above equation tells us something more. It says that the number of fermions of a particular type called baryons will remain constant, and a proton will not turn into an electron. Note that the reaction also tells us that Tz, which is half for the proton, must be -half for the antiproton in order to conserve isospin. It is generally the case that Tz for an antiparticle must be opposite to Tz for the corresponding particle. We have encountered this for the pion, since the particle pi plus has Tz equals +1 and the antiparticle pi minus has Tz equals -1. the pi 0 having Tz equal to 0 is its own antiparticle. Such particles which have no quantum number that could distinguish particle from its antiparticle are said to be self-conjugate. Another property of the pion is its instability. The pi 0 decays spontaneously by an electromagnetic interaction with a lifetime of about 10 to the power minus 16 seconds into 2 high energy photons pi naught 2 gamma plus gamma, or rarely into an electron-positron pair and 1 photon. Although this sounds like a very short decay time, it should be compared to the time 10 to the power minus 23 seconds that would characterize the decay if it took place through the strong interaction or nucleon interaction. The value 10 to the power minus 23 seconds is just the time that particles moving with a relative velocity c equals 10 to the power 8 meter per second would overlap within a distance of the range of the nucleon force r dash nearly equal to 10 to the power minus 15 meters. The facts first used to identify the electromagnetic nature of the pi 0 decay are that photons participate only in the electromagnetic interaction and that the decay lifetime is much longer than the time 10 to the power minus 23 seconds that would suffice if it could go by the stronger interaction. The other pions do not decay in the same way as the neutral pions. Instead, the pi plus decays with even longer lifetime, about 10 to the power minus 8 seconds, according to the scheme pi plus 2 mu plus plus nu mu, where mu plus represents the positively charged muon and nu mu is the muonic neutrino. The pi minus decays with the same lifetime according to the scheme pi minus 2 mu minus plus nu mu bar, where mu minus is the negatively charged muon and nu mu bar is the muonic antineutrino. The positive muon is the antiparticle of the negative muon, just as the positron is the antiparticle of the electron. In fact, except for their highest rest mass, muons are like electrons. The charged pion decays involve an interaction which is related to the beta decay interaction of nuclear physics. The fact that the lifetime of charged pion decay is much longer than for electromagnetic decay of the neutral pion is a reflection of the fact that the interaction involved in the decay is much weaker than the electromagnetic interaction. We made a similar comparison in the case of beta decay. For these reasons, both the decay of a neutron into proton plus an electron plus an electronic antineutrino and the decay of a positive or negative pion into a positive or negative muon and a muonic neutrino or antineutrino are said to take place via the weak interaction. This terminology leads to the nucleon interaction being called strong interaction, while beta decay interaction in nuclear physics as weak interaction. The muon and the electron, the muonic and electronic neutrinos and the antiparticles of each are collectively called leptons. A new family of leptons, the tauons, was discovered in 1975. Its mass is 1784 MeV by c square. Emission of tau plus and tau minus are accompanied by a tauonic neutrino and antineutrino. This family has all the characteristics given above for the electron and muon families. The electron is stable because there are no less massive particles into which the conservation laws allow it to decay. But muons do decay via weak interaction according to the following schemes. That is, mu plus 2 E plus nu E plus nu mu bar, and mu minus 2 E minus plus nu E bar plus nu mu, where we use E plus for the positron and E minus for the electron. The lifetime for both decays is the same, and it has a value about 10 to the power minus 6 seconds. The need for a distinction between the electronic neutrino nu E and the muonic neutrino nu mu was demonstrated experimentally in 1962 by showing that the muonic neutrinos obtained from pion decay will produce muon but not electrons. Because of their much greater masses, charged tauons can have a variety of decays. For instance, they have purely leptonic decays into electrons and neutrinos, like mu plus decays to E plus nu E plus nu mu bar, and mu minus to E minus plus nu E bar plus nu mu, or corresponding decays into muons like tau plus 2 mu plus plus nu mu plus nu tau bar. Tauons can also have semi-leptonic decays into leptons and strongly interacting particles. For example, tau minus decays to pi minus plus nu tau. With its large mass and many possible decay modes, the tau has quite short lifetime, about 10 to the power minus 13 seconds. Since leptons are fermions, they are created or destroyed in particle-antiparticle pairs. Consequently, the number present in an isolated system will remain constant if each particle makes a positive contribution to the count and each antiparticle makes a negative contribution. Because of the distinction among electronic, muonic, and tauonic leptons, each type separately satisfies a lepton number conservation law. This can be written as sigma Le equal to constant, sigma L mu equal to constant, and sigma L tau equal to constant. The electronic lepton number Le is equal to 1 for electron and minus 1 for the positron. It is plus 1 for the electronic neutrino and minus 1 for an electronic antineutrino. The muonic lepton number L mu and the tauonic lepton number L tau are similarly defined so that lepton number is plus 1 for a particle and minus 1 for its antiparticle. The muon and tauon decay schemes all satisfy these conservation laws. It will also be noted that these laws are of the same form as told in the equation for baryon number conservation, because baryon and the various lepton numbers are like charge additive quantum numbers. However, parity is a multiplicative quantum number. That is, the parities in an initial state are multiplied, and if parity is conserved, the product is equated to the product of the particles in the final state. The existence of these separate lepton numbers and the mass difference among the E, mu and tau are the only distinctions we know among these otherwise identical leptons. We also know from the experiments that unlike strongly interacting particles, for example nucleon, pi, etc., they have no spatial extent down to at least 10 to the power minus 8 meter or 10 to the power minus 3 Fermi, with no structure to distinguish them. The point-like leptons are now considered to be truly fundamental particles. Here, it is desirable to mention that, like the electromagnetic and strong interaction, the weak interaction should be carried by a field quantum. This field quantum or intermediate boson is expected to appear in three forms: W plus, W minus, and Z naught. Indeed, in 1983, evidence was obtained for the W's as well as for Z naught. These spin 1 particles are quite massive, with the W's having a mass of about 80 into 10 to the power 3 MeV by c square, or 80 GeV by c square, and Z naught having a mass of about 90 giga-electron-volt by c square. Just as we saw that the massless photon gives the electromagnetic interaction a long range, the minus 140 MeV by c squared pion gives strong interaction a short range. So, we see that massive intermediate bosons give the weak interaction an extremely short range. In fact, the weak interaction is not intrinsically weak. It is the very large mass of its field quanta which make it appear so. Isospin is a frequently used term while explaining the probability of various nuclear interactions. In order to explain the significance of isospin, let us consider three combinations of two nucleon systems: dineutron 0n2, the deuteron 1s2, and diproton 2he2. The exclusion principle allows only the deuteron to have a triplet spin level labeled S equal to 1, and because of the spin dependence of the nucleon force, only this level is at a low enough energy to be bound. But all three systems have a slightly unbound singlet spin level labeled S equal to 0. Because of the charge independence of the nucleon force, the S is equal to 0 level is at the same energy in all the three systems except for the small effect of the Coulomb repulsion energy that is present in the diproton. The symmetry that is obvious in this set of energy level diagrams and that is even more clear in the other sets can be described in a very convenient way by means of the concept of isospin T. As its name implies, isospin has mathematical properties that are similar to those familiar with spin. However, It has no direct physical relationship with the spin. It is used to identify related energy levels or quantum states in sets of isobars, that is, in sets of systems that all have the same number of nucleons. For the sets shown in the figure, the lowest level is said to be an isospin singlet labeled T equal to 0, and the three related levels are said to form an isospin triplet labeled T equal to 1. The word triplet is used because there are three related levels, and associated with T there is a component Tz that can assume the three values Tz equals -1, 0 and +1 when T equal to 1. The component Tz is usually used to identify a particular level of an isospin multiplet by specifying the relation between Z and N, that is, the number of protons and neutrons for the particular isobar that the level belongs to. The relation is Tz equals Z minus N by 2. In figure, the three T equal to 1 levels are labeled by Tz equals 0 minus 2 by 2 equal to -1 for the dineutron, Tz equals 1 minus 1 by 2 equal to 0 for the deuteron, and Tz equals 2 minus 0 by 2 equal to +1 for the diproton. For the isospin singlet level T equal to 0, there is only one possible value of Tz, that is Tz equal to 0 corresponding to the deuteron. In general, the relation between the value of T and the possible values of Tz is given by Tz equals -T plus 1, etc., plus -T minus 1 plus T. This is very analogous to the mathematical relation between the quantum number describing any angular momentum vector, including the spin vector, and the possible values of the quantum number describing its Z component. It should be emphasized that isospin is not a vector in any physical space with a component along a coordinate axis of that space. Instead, it is a mathematical construct that exists only in some imagined space. It is nevertheless very useful in describing the symmetrical properties of the systems containing the same number of nucleons, which results from the symmetrical way the exclusion principle treats identical nucleons of either species, and the symmetrical way the charge independence nucleon force treats all nucleons. A system containing a single nucleon has Tz equal to half, with two possible values of Tz. Tz equals -half and +half. According to the relation, the first possibility describes the neutron for Z minus N by 2 equals -half, and the second describes the proton for which Z minus N by 2 equals +half. Thus, isospin allows us to speak of the neutron and proton as the two related manifestations of the same particle, the T-half nucleon. In the case of neutron, Tz equal to -half, and for proton, Tz equals +half. This is like saying that a proton with the spin of is the ms equal to plus half manifestation of s equal to half proton, and the proton with the spin down is the ms equal to minus half manifestation of the same particle. From this point of view, the quantum mechanical label exchange properties of a system containing several nucleons may be expressed in a very general way by saying that if the total eigenfunction for the system is the product of a space eigenfunction, that is spin eigenfunction and isospin eigenfunction, the symmetry of each in an exchange of any two particle labels must be such as to make the total eigenfunction be antisymmetric because nucleons are fermions. As applied to the two nucleon system levels in figure, since all of these levels L equal to 0, all of the corresponding states have symmetric space eigenfunctions. So, for each of them, a symmetric spin eigenfunction must be associated with an antisymmetric isospin eigenfunction, or vice versa, because of their analogous mathematical properties. For both spin and isospin, a singlet state is described by an antisymmetric eigenfunction and a triplet state is described by a symmetric eigenfunction. Thus, levels of singlet spin S is equal to 0 should have triplet isospin T equal to 1, and the level of triplet spin S equal to 1 should have singlet isospin, that is T equal to 0, as demonstrated in the figure. The power of isospin in identifying the related quantum states in sets of systems containing a large number of nucleons is shown in the figure. The figure schematically shows some low-lying energy levels of the set of isobars 5b14, 6c14, 7n14, 8o14, and 9f14. The so-called isobaric analog levels of a particular isospin multiplet are labeled by T and Tz as before, except for the small systematic increase in their energies with increasing Tz due to the increase in the Coulombian repulsion energy with increasing Ez. All isobaric analog levels have the same energy. The reason is that the corresponding total eigenfunctions of each system are all identical solutions if we ignore Coulomb effect to a Schrodinger equation for the same nucleon force, since the nucleon force does not depend on Tz as it is charge independent, but the nucleon force depends on T as it is spin dependent. We first learned of this as a dependence of the spin, and now we realize that the label exchange requirements means it is also an isospin dependence. The nature of the spin dependence is such as to make the state of the lowest T have the lowest possible energy level for the set of systems. This can be seen in both figures, this one and the previous one. The statement that energies resulting from the nucleon force or interaction do not depend on Tz but only on T is consistent with the fact that isospin T is conserved in process involving this interaction. However, the conservation of isospin in the nucleon interaction is of greater generality than the conclusion based on the charge independence experiments. So, it requires additional experimental verification, evidence for which is found in the reaction 1s2 plus 8O16 gives 7N14 plus 2He4. In all experimental situations, the incident and target nuclei 1s2 and 8O16 are in their ground states. If the bombarding energy of the incident nucleon is not too high, the product nucleus 2He4 must also be in its ground state because its first excited state lies at an energy above 20 MeV. All three of these nuclei have Tz equals 0 in all states, and in their ground state they have the lowest value of T consistent with this Tz, namely T equal to 0. This is true for the ground state of residual nucleus 7N14. But as we see in the figure, the first excited state of 7N14 has T equal to 1. As far as the conservation of energy, angular momentum or parity is concerned, the reaction could produce 7N14 in either its ground or its first excited state. The experimental observation that it is produced only in the ground state provides strong evidence for the conclusion that the nucleon interaction conserves the isospin T. Further, the fact that the nucleon interaction also conserves Tz is simply a consequence of charge conservation. We can also find that in application to particles, isospin takes a broader significance than its use in the classification of nucleon states.